absurd seems completely sane.
Hey, I got a lot of updates for you guys, and for some of you guys have been watching me since day one, and I just want to just give a couple of updates. Oh, by the way, the insanity hat is on. Let me get the chart that I want to show you. I know it doesn't really serve much purpose, but you'll get the idea. You see that big circle right there? That's the UVXY kissing. We call it the kiss back at VWAP. The VWAP kiss back, okay? But before, all right, let's get to that first. And I'm going to preface every video saying, I don't know shit. I don't know where the market's going on Monday, and I don't know what's going to happen anytime in the future. But I do know how to trade during the day. Now, the UVXY, as you know, I've been bashing this thing for the last 3 years, and it was a fantastic short. But when the markets are volatile, it is a great buy, and it is a great vehicle. It is a great thing, whatever you want to call it, a stock, ETN, ETF, it doesn't matter. Now, even in times of volatility, I think one of the only times the UVXY rallied into the close like it did today was when we thought we were going over the fiscal cliff. The fiscal cliff, how'd that work out? But I just want to show you another chart. Now, this is hilarious. I'm sorry I got to do it this way, but this is now all the way up in the corner, as you see, there's that big red bar right there, and then the plummeting, and that's basically the last 5 or 6 years of it. You really can't appreciate it, but UVXY split adjusted from October 2011, split adjusted 489,600. 489,600. The stock was trading at $27 the other day. This is not an exaggeration. What the UVXY it's a product that tracks the VIX based on futures. So when the futures expire, the stock automatically gets adjusted down. They split it in a reverse split. And if I'm talking about stocks, stuff that you don't understand what I'm saying, email me, send me your information, and I will educate you. I've been doing this my whole life. 489,600, right? Split adjusted. The stock was never there, but what it does, let's say it goes to 100, and it goes down to 10, and they split it 10 for 1, and it goes back to 100. So all of that splitting and going back down and splitting going back down, in theory, the stock has gone from, 489,600 to $27. So in theory, it always goes down. What I say, how it's always going down. But there are moments where this is the greatest thing to own of any stock. Somebody asked me, if I had to buy a stock right now, what would it be? You know, nobody wants to give up on their bullishness. And again, as bullish as I was, I said, if the QQQ breaks 108.12, I'm a bear, I'm selling everything, I'm shorting the Qs, and I'm rooting for the death of America. And here we are, insanity hat on. You guys, if you haven't known, if you haven't watched enough videos, go back. I don't like the stock market. I don't like economics. I don't like politics. I don't like anything. I like getting drunk, getting high, having parties, and just having a good time with my family. Not all together, of course. I don't usually get drunk and high with my family, but you understand what I'm saying. Family, good times, but you do need money to have good times with the family. So somehow you got to make some money, whether it be in the stock market, whatever you want to do, however you make money. The most important thing is making enough money to live the life you want to lead. And again, I live a life where I never thought, when I was growing up, I came from a very conservative family. The difference between need and want was very apparent. If I had a blue shirt, My mom said, you have a blue shirt. What do you need another blue shirt for? What do you need a blue shirt? You have a blue shirt. What do you need another blue shirt? What do you need that for? What do you need that for? Is I have it tattooed on my ass right next to the other tattoo on my ass that says, if you can read this, I must be in prison. I grew up, there was a difference between need and want. And in theory, my dad invented the rental of audio video equipment. He invented the VCR when you would go to a video store and rent tapes. He invented this by what he would do is Toys R Us had a very liberal 90-day return policy on their products. So when I was growing up, my dad would buy me the Atari 2600. He would get a few cartridges for me. I would play with it for 87 days. And then just to make sure he wasn't going to miss that deadline, he would pack it all up and bring it back. Where'd my Atari go? Oh, I'll buy it for you in 10 days. And then he would buy it back. So basically, he invented renting. He invented whatever those things are now. You could go in and rent a TV for a couple of months. He invented it by, creating Anyway, point being is the stock market. And I've seen enough Ponzi scams, and I've seen enough fraud, and I knew pyramid scams back in high school. Kids were doing it in college. To me, especially because everywhere I've went, and this is where I'm leading up to, because everywhere I've went, and every part of Wall Street, and every person I've met has been a criminal, has perpetrated some sort of fraud. I know people that are in jail still. I know brokerage firms that were selling stocks that weren't real stocks. I know that there's market makers that manipulate stocks. All of that stuff, all the negativity that you hear about Wall Street and all the paranoia you have about it, it's not paranoia if it's true, because it is all true. The government took the stock market over in 2009. They prevented it from going down. And I was rah, rah, rah. This is it. The government owns the stock market. We never go down. We never go down. And again, we've gone down 10%. All right? We're long GE, Verizon, the Qs. And again, sold the Qs. Still got some. I'm not going to give up completely. I got the hedge on, so it doesn't really matter. But the day trading account, my personal feeling right now is, why do you need to own stocks? Like the guy asked me, what do you think the best stock to buy right now is? And he's thinking long term. He wants to buy the dip. He wants to hold on. I was like, why don't we just think short term for a second? Why not how much money do you think you want to make? You want to buy a stock? You want to make 10 or 20%? How about you buy the UVXY right here at $38.75? Because chances are in this environment, we will actually have a rally into the close and then probably rip after the close, because that's what normally happens with the UVXY. If you trade this thing, you know how that psychopathic monster move happens between 4 and 415. Oh, it was glorious. It wasn't as huge as it normally is, but on these volatile days, the thing about the UVXY that gets people in trouble is that when you think, oh, well, I should be buying UVXY. This market seems to look a little toppy, and then it goes down. Oh, this market looks like it's going to be rolling over, and then it goes down. Oh, this market, no. You got to wait for these moments when there's real fear, real volatility going over the weekend. Well, who wants to be long over the weekend? You never know. The NASDAQ futures could be opening up down another 125 on Monday. So that's why you anticipate that. But more importantly, it wasn't even about that. Sure, we had a hunch, or I had a hunch, that the UVXY would at least test 40 again going into the close. And if it broke 40, you'd probably get to 42.50. Didn't think we'd get to 45 like we did. But let me show you the chart. You see the big thing there? That's a circle of where we bought it. All right? And of course, we sold a little bit into strength. And then as it got to the upper deviation band, we sold some more. And then it pulled back. And I said, hey, look, if it breaks back over this, and that was the crucial 40 zone. If you look at the chart, it couldn't break 40 once, twice, 3 times. I said, what do you think is going to happen on that fourth attempt? If it finally does break it, that's going to be your move going into the close. Nobody wants to hold stocks. People are buying protection on their portfolios over the weekend. So instead of selling their stocks, they're buying UVXY for a little protection. That's all this stock represents. It's a little protection. It's a hedge. So you had to figure that this thing was going to rock. Now, again, I don't know shit. All right? Right? Remember? No matter how many good calls I made, let's only focus on the negative. Let's only take what I said, because I said, the bottom of the year was in. Dead wrong. Loved U.S. Steel at 40. Let's harp on the negative like we do. That's what we like to do. We like to harp on the negative. Forget about the positives. Forget that we made 5.5 points on the UVXY trade going into the close. Let's forget about that. Let's just harp on the fact that you said, or maybe you remember the fact that I also said if it breaks 108.12 that I'm a seller. Maybe you remember. No, fuck that! Fuck that! I'm only gonna harp and focus in on the negative so I could poke fun at you. All right. That's fair. It's fair. How about the Fitbit short at $45 that we said it would probably be 20, by April of 2016? No, fuck that shit. You also mentioned your daughter liked the stock. That voids everything. You voided that shit. Void. What about the fact that we called the bottom today when the UVXY originally hit 40, and this was a nice intraday trade. The UVXY hit 40 and then started cratering, and right at that moment we bought some ENQ futures and some QQQ calls, and the market started rallying. And of course, again, it was a nice bottom pick that I had, but I didn't hold the whole move. I sold 50% up into that thing. Where were we? The moral of the story. Everybody I've met is a criminal. Everybody's committed some sort of crime. So here's the thing. Back in the day, I made a couple of videos. Remember I had a cousin who was getting involved in a private placement with a penny stock, and I made a video called Will I Get Fucked? Well, guess what? I don't know if I ever update you on it. I got fucked! No kidding! You guys remember the Carl story? Carl was a wannabe analyst that worked at one of the firms I worked in a long time ago, right? Carl. Remember Carl? Carl was sitting next to me for 6 months. I was training him how to trade. The dude was finding stocks I never heard of. He had technical analysis up the ass. He would combine the fundamentals with the technicals. Dude was handing me winners over and over again. I said, you know what, Carl? Training is over. You are now going to go live. I gave this guy $10,000, and over 6 months, all he did was lose money consistently and basically grinded the account down to $2,500. Way to go, Carl. Amazing how you sat next to me giving me ideas that worked. You said it, I bought it, or I shorted it. He called bankruptcies on companies I never even heard of. He's like, this stock they'll be out of business in 3 months. Next thing you know, they go out of business. That was when I was convinced. I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. I gave the guy $10,000. Then I had this other asshole, Rob. Not my brother, Rob. But I'll get to that story. That's what this is all leading to. Woo-hoo! Rob, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. It's not your fault. But I had this other guy, Rob. I'm having a hard time, blah, blah. My firm went out of business, and I need a place to trade, but I don't really have the money because I got divorced. This is not about you, Rob. This is some other Rob, even though the stories are kind of similar. So I begged the owner of my firm, give my friend Rob here a shot. He'll put up $2,500 if you could just, front the other $2,500 because it was a $5,000 minimum. And this asshole shorting Goldman Sachs one day, right? Shorting it. And we cut him off. He's down $2,300 out of the $2,500. I mean, granted, we promised him we would give him the other $2,500 to fuck with, but at one point we had to say, maybe you should cover that position. And he said, no, it's your fault. I need more buying power so I could short more. So when it comes back down, I'll make twice as much money on the way back down. And he's yelling at me because I couldn't get him more money and then I cut him off. That was when Goldman Sachs was around $78 a share. How's that trade working out for you, dick? Nice. So where would you cover it? Would you have covered it at 100, 120? What, maybe 150? I think it went to 210 because you're a fucking genius. That's an asshole that just doesn't want to admit that he doesn't know what he's doing and doesn't want to admit that he's wrong. That's how you blow yourself up. That's how you lose all your money. And he also said, if I had another monitor, oh, that was the best one. That's when I had to say, you could stop talking now. Please leave. He's like, what are you talking about? No. You would trade better if you had a third monitor. Or, sorry, he had the 3 monitors set up. He needed that 4th monitor. That would have been a game changer. So he could look at 8 more charts that he really can't see in the distance. He needed 6 more level 2s to watch stocks. How many stocks you trading? You're trading Goldman Sachs all day for losses. You don't need another monitor. Genius. So I got Carl, I got Rob, I got my penny stock cousin. Every person I've gotten into business with except my current friend has been a complete failure. Which brings me to this. Now that I have my checks, what is this, $2,000, and here's the last $11,000 left in these 2 accounts. Ditto Trade. Do you guys know about Ditto Trade? Fantastic concept. So for all you guys that don't want to sit in front of the computer and you think text alerts on your phone might be too delayed and you just want to have somebody trade your account for you, but that's illegal, this was the legal way of doing it. So the idea was I open an account at Ditto Trade, you open an account at Ditto Trade, we click a few buttons, and then anytime I do a trade, you get a percentage or a full allotment, depending on what your risk tolerance is. So what I'm saying is if I buy 1,000 UVXY, you can buy 10% of what I buy 20%. So the idea is, let's say I have 5 guys linked to my account. If I send an order for 1,000, it divvies it up. So let's assume everybody's got the 100% allotment. I send an order for 1,000. It buys 6,000, my 1,000, 5,000 more for everybody else. And then if it's not all at one price, it divides it up and sends the order. But here's the awesome part. This is a new company, right? This was a fairly new company. But they were trading on software that probably wouldn't have worked in 1920. I'll give you one example. First of all, the platform sucked. The commission rates were awful. The refresh rate on their screen was terrible. It seemed like the quotes were delayed. But all that, I wanted to ignore it because I wanted it to work so bad for me and my buddy. I wanted it to work until this moment. If you, let's say you wanted to piece in to UVXY and you buy 100 shares and you buy 100 shares and you buy 100 shares and you're making your way up to 1,000. Now you want to sell all 1,000 because the stock got to where you want. No! You got to sell it in the same increments as you got in. Hello? Hello, yeah? Yeah, hi, I was wondering, I'm trying to sell all 1,000 shares of my UVXY in the account. I have 1,000 shares. It's not letting me sell. Oh, what? Oh, I have to sell it in the same... What? This is the conversation. Wait. You guys will be out of business in 3 months. That's your software? You can't sell an aggregated... So basically you're trying to rob people. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Just admit it and we could part as friends. Just say you want to rob people. That's how you built your software. Ditto Trade. Ditto Trade. So you buy 100 share increments And now I got to send I got to send 10 different orders to sell the 1,000 shares. That was it. So come around the end of the year, because, I didn't even check. I had my $12,000, $15,000 sitting in their account. I had already withdrawn some money because I knew I was closing the account. But I was like, I'll wait till the end of the year and I'll do it. So I go to close it out on December 30th. I go to the website. Ooh, we don't any longer exist. You gotta be kidding me. But now we can make fun of it. Thank you, Apex Clearing, for being a decent clearing firm, unlike Penson. Ditto Trade, huh? So there's one thing I know in this industry is what sucks and when to realize when you're wrong. This sucks. The market not rallying on December 30th and 31st. I'm thinking, this is bad shit. But knowing that the trend of no terrorism gap up after the new year usually works, I said, you know what? Even though my gut's telling me to get the hell out of the stock market completely right now and buy puts and buy the UVXY, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait till the market opens up on Monday and see how it goes. And you saw how that went. Next thing you know, 108.12, I can't believe it, blah, 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 never crashing. But the best part about it is we went out, and I'm going to Jamaica in the end of March, and I figured, you know what? Maybe this market's just going to tank all the way down and down and down. So I decided I'd buy some March $100 puts. I didn't even think I was going to make money on these. Next thing you know, it started as a hedge, and now it is the saving trade of 2016. The March $100 puts. You got to be kidding me. Anyway, Ditto Trade, penny stocks, brokers. I mean, seriously. Remember the Stratosphere in Vegas? That was the IPO that we did. I'm thinking, holy shit, we're doing the IPO for a hotel in Vegas? Garbage. Everything that I've done with anybody else has turned to shit. Hence the reason I run this whole fucker by myself now. I do have a secret partner, but we keep it a secret. And there's really the influence. He's just my buddy. And even though he's a money-hungry psychopath, at least deep down inside, and you know who I'm talking about, he's trying to help people, but he needs to get paid for it. And you can't fault the guy. And can you fault me? Because unless you want to harp on the fact that I said the market would probably be up, I was just basing it on seasonality. Let's get the almanac out. Let's get Jeff Hirsch on the phone. Seasonality. We usually rally into New Year's and the week after. That's all I was basing it on. Didn't mean I was going to sit here.
Well, I set out a video that the market wouldn't go down. I better just keep buying. Hey, that UVXY, man, that shit looks like it's going to explode.
Let me short it instead, just to prove a point to the anonymous idiot on YouTube.
So anyway, if you started 2016 fresh with a $5,000 account, whatever it was, you are killing it. Because whatever mistakes we made with our beliefs, our actions, which is the only thing that matters, is what counts. That big white circle is the only thing that counted today. That's it. That's the only fucking thing. I don't give a shit about what I've done in the history of my whole career. That trade was the shit. Sure, we sold into a little bit, but we did hold the last couple of lots till the end. That was us, right there. Oh. And we do have puts on the market. Now, I'm not saying that the market's going down or up next week, but guess what? If the Qs break over, blah, 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 I'll be blah, 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 blah. But if they blah, 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 I'll be blah, 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 blah. And the UVXY, blah, blah, blah. If the UVXY, blah, 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 and the blah, blah, and the blah, 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 VWAP, blah, 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 will be blah, 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 blah. Right? Predictions, my ass. Alcoa, numbers are coming out Monday. You know what I think? I think they're going to come out and the blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Shaggy. Then Alcoa is going to open up, and then in the aftermarket, it's going to blah, 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 blah. And then after next day, after the blah, blah, and the analyst says, oh, blah, 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 and then the blah, 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 and the blah, blah, VWAP. I don't know what the fuck Alcoa is going to do. Stock's a piece of shit. U.S. Steel's at $7. Joy Global's under 10. Remember Joy Global? That was my favorite stock. Stock was like $150 at one point. I love Joy Global. Fucking juggernaut company. Stock's trading at $9.50 now. On the verge of bankruptcy. Transocean. Remember I made fun of the analyst? Remember when we bought Transocean at like $16 and it was at $21 and some asshole downgraded it and it went up $1 that day? We were laughing. Guess who's laughing now? That guy. At me. But guess what? I sold it. It's the actions that matter, right? All right. If you sat through this one, thanks. You know where to find me. So if you want to blah 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 or next week, all you got to do is and just get in touch with me. And I will about the VWAP. And now you're thinking, this is the guy I want to listen to about stock trading? Yeah, you do. Because I will help you prevent getting to this frame of mind. Because this is what trading has done to me. I'm psycho. But you got to be psycho to want to do this every freaking day. It's psychopathic. I was retired. I was done. And I came back because I needed something to do. And I lost a whole shit ton of money. And I've just been making it back over the last couple of years. By using, I guess it's more than a couple of years now.
How?
4 years now since I last went huge short and took a beat down and became that psycho bull that I make all these videos on. Got smoked. Smoked! I think it was like March 14th, 2012, whatever day it was. Hammered! Never lost that kind of money in one day. Oh, then again, there was that moment when I was on my bachelor party in February of 2000. That was pretty awful also, but I really wasn't there for it. I came back to see,
what happened?
Look, friends, countrymen, there's only one way, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to wrap up every video from now on with this. I'm going to start the video by telling you I don't know shit, but I do know how to read these charts and make a little money during the day. If you want to just try to make a little money during the day and stop speculating, do it. Find me. I can help. Yeah, this guy. I used to have hair. I had a picture of me with a huge mullet, but I don't know where it is. Maybe I should admit how I really get my stock picks. Wait, where is it? Oh. Magic 8 Ball. Should I buy UVXY into the close? It is decidedly so. Boom. That's how I do it, really. I don't use charts. Charts? Fuck a chart. All right. Have a good weekend. And if the NASDAQ futures on Monday, or Sunday night actually, and then they open up in the Hafen, then you're going to on the Chibde, make sure that you Chubde on the Chabde on the VWAP. And then if the Chubde in the reversal on the VWAP, then you Chubde, Chibde, Chabde. Und the chabda, chubda, and the chabda, chubda. I probably said some joke in Yiddish right now. Somebody out there going, I love that one. Chabda.